Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to another Album Review Saturday show. Since I was out ill and called into work on Saturday of last week, we're going to make this an episode 3, a part 1 and a part 2. Album Review Saturdays here on Beyond Your Radio are an extension of the article section. I always review the 3 albums, and then, as always, with us at Beyond Your Radio, there can be any genre or style. In this video, I'll quickly review those 3 albums from part 1 that are on the website, and then give you an additional review of several other albums. Hopefully you found the subscribe button. For those of you still thinking about it, well, maybe this will be the video that convinces you. We don't want you to miss any of the videos, and when, of course, you click that subscribe button, it alerts you immediately. If you have subscribed, well, you know we love you dearly and can never repay you. I mean it. Stop asking for money. So, what are the 3 albums for today? From the blog, which will talk about the American Analog set. What are we going to tell Guy or Guy? Then we move to Slith from France and their new album, Ilion. And finally, Sean Sheeb and his album Profession. The American Analog set, what are we going to tell Guy? I was introduced to the American Analog set by Bill of the CD Exchange in Orchard Park, New York, back in the 1990s, 1996 probably to be exact. Bill would never play anything heavy or rocky in the store due to the clientele in Orchard Park, which made absolute sense. So why I browsed at lunchtime when I wasn't out of town selling restaurant equipment and supplies, I would, spend time listening to what he was playing, but also browsing the sections. The low-key instrumentation, their subtle shifts, bendy strings, and light alternative electronica was elementally soothing to me. There were nothing the same about songs, really. Just the flow of the album would be in that soothing dimension. Even amidst the calm being of the music, there was still nothing truly the same about it. I knew why he played in the store. I knew why he played it in the store. I mean, gosh, if I put all his dogs through doggy training school, I'm pretty sure I spent an enormous amount of money in his store. There are stories in that store galore, I assure you. Maybe that's a show for another day. I'm partial to the 1996 and 1997 albums, and I've not heard a new album of the American Analog set since 2005 Set Free. That's right. I missed the 2023 album For Forever. I missed it entirely. It's not even on my spreadsheet when I went back to look last year. So that's a true miss, right? I'll be playing it soon for sure. So what are we going to tell Guy? The setup here is still the same. The electronic, carefully minded hum is there and the instruments flowing soft and gently over it. Layering mood and, of course, songs shift slightly and pretty much how it's always been done. The lyrical content here is more sparse than I recall and honestly left to repeat rather than to inspire or narrate. Yes, they do ask that question, what are they going to tell Guy in the first track? I feel we're not in the know on this record for some reason, or at least I'm not. There's no connection that I'm making into the delivery, despite the fact that it's still pleasant and soothing. But there's so much more that's stripped away, has a weaker presence, which could be absolutely by design. But again, I just didn't get it. The playing of acoustic guitars and organ and keyboard, synth, and Zyberphone are lovely. Here's I'm Too Tired to Shine 1, although there is no 2. There's a melancholy pace that I liken to the possible mental state of an assisted living guy adjusting to the habitat, soaking in the pale surrounding, navigating the days, enjoying some of the modest luxury of time until a light shone in something or someone. Now, toward the end, this guy is finding out that the pace might be just a good thing, but there is a beauty and enjoyment in it because the music here has its place, just like Guy does. What are we going to talk about next? Well, we're going to Toulouse, France for Slift, Slift, and their record Ilion. Okay, here it is. Holy shit. There's knowing how to play instruments, and then there's knowing how to play an instrument. Okay, these guys are soaking every last drop of every minute, of every second, of every riff, of every note out of every instrument in this trio. Holy shit. Again, they know how to play as a band. And then there's knowing how to play as a band and how far you can push each other. Ilion has no concept of fear, no concept of taking a moment to breathe, anything in the ether, or turn off their pursuit of progressive metal nirvana. They're like me, a gorger. I'm the kind of individual that makes a meal, spectacular meals. I prepare them. I take all that love, that time and passion and put it into everything. But then I eat it like a monster. Well, this is Ilion. This is Slift. The Toulouse, France trio went into the studio. They took their creative time. They pushed each other. They bounced production around, and talent spared no mental expense, I'm sure, methodically and progressively made their metal masterpiece and delivered it up. And now they're throwing it down with these eight tracks. No, not 8-track, that, media thing from 1960s to 1980s. They're throwing it down in the most gorging sense to your ears in the listening in 1 hour and 19 minutes. 1 hour and 19 minutes, people. All right. And you don't even feel it. They're thrashing all over the primal landscape of anything they could sonically muster in the macabre. Yes, there's even industrial in this too. The elevated musicianship spares no moment. They remain at the heightened progressive metal, stoner rock, industrial drip sense of sound, dialed in and unrelenting, except maybe a fading song exit. Oop, nope, that's not a song exit. Let's keep going. Jesus. We know the French can bang it out. Goyera. So there's a model for this kind of thing. However, Slift makes the gorging, elongated, darkly compelling, and beyond musical comprehension in every place on Ilion. It's a wonderment of conception, song per song, in timing, in dramatic yet controlled crescendos that unexpectedly become another monstrous pattern of crushing riffs or rock licks or metal solos, string tapping, or bending of sonic spillage. I kind of liken this to a very dark early Genesis in technical aspects, in the wavering of the music. Just, taking a much more darker and metal approach than Genesis, and then torturing it a little further. The vocals do not completely share this sentiment, however, at least for me. They know their place. They're sculpted carefully to control the exceptional composition or be within the contour. There is no way they could compete at the heightened position the music is at anyway. A lead singer wouldn't survive. They would be replacing them after a year of touring, after draining their very life force. To do anything other than the vocals that are here would never even come close to working, in my opinion. The harmony in it is like a string arrangement, the only thing anywhere near subtle about the recording. Let's take a listen.
And then
I feel like this band could play forever, or that they're playing for the very devil that gave them their talent and joined them into this perfect guitar, bass, and drum playing flesh union. They either have no choice, are possessed marionettes of a primordial maestro, or they have the new coming of masters of the progressive metal meets sonic industrial. Dark designers extraordinaire they are. Any progressive metal or progressive rock ear is going to completely be drawn in by them. It's unavoidable. And you'll know it on the opening track and be cataclysmically aware when you enter the loop. Trust me, accept it like an exploding supernova into a black hole. France has more than Paris. They got more than the Olympics and champagne this year. Viva la Swift. Viva la Slift. Or would it be Le? I don't know. Finally, let's talk about Sean Shahib and his new album, Profession. Now, I'm a sucker for classic guitar. There's no doubt about it. But while I'm a sucker for it, I'm also scared of it. It's kind of frightening, the mere mention of it, and I feel very ill qualified to have a review. Not because of my non-technical expertise. I'm just intimidated by it overall. Eddie Van Halen, maybe? Could he play classical guitar to the works of, Barrios, Villa-Lobos, or Alberto Ginastera? I would assume so, right? The music was in front of him. But would he play it that same way? I'm thinking like Joe Bonamassa could. After all, remember that Vienna live concert he did? He can hit an acoustic guitar. They're intimidating. It's all those names that I mentioned. They're intimidating as hell. They compose this music in detail and without the help of advanced technology of any sort. And in some cases, hell, they were probably even devoid of light. Still, I'm drawn in. I love the expertise, the incredible dexterity and calculated manipulation of the strings, and those are thick strings, right? That's not electric guitar. Of course, they're sacrificing skin and probably nerve damage. Okay, maybe that's a bit. I'm wowed by their command of the delicate wood-based instrument and the variety of the ways they hold it, they caress it, rub it, to make it become alive with sentiment and aged battle melodies that somehow continue to be a revelation in this day of swipe and play or scroll and pick that's become the record industry's measuring of success. No, I don't need a cold shower. Not yet, anyway. Let's check out Mr. Sheeb on the classical guitar. No, I don't know Barrios's Profession de Fe. It's Profession of Faith, obviously. But after hearing Sean play this brilliantly, make it his own, I'm fairly certain I have a minute grasp of the delicacy, the commitment required to make such a profession. The cover art itself had that life and devotion kind of look to it, and the picture held true to the maestro's intention and the music palette within. There's a simple beauty in Old World, and the strings at his fingers convey it devoutly from within the church that provided the acoustic setting. I mean, when you're doing these type of albums, I think the common statement is you're going to play in a church, and it's going to be some beautiful church, and it's going to have the acoustics galore because you need it, right? You can't go into a studio and do this. While Sean is not from South America, You might feel that he is, considering the depth of attention and style and capabilities that are probably required to pull this off, but it's in the right hands. The playing is light, not overt in complexity, but still beauty and timing is everything. There's a storytelling feel in the studies section of the record, yet the sonatas area definitely lets the passion have its way for a bit. Intensifies that tempo and strumming, but careful to share the original spirit of the record and acoustic beauty. This is a musical world to explore, my music multiverse listeners. It's a perfect world to immerse into your background of your life, or in the silence of a beautiful room, or if the moment arises, a spiritual or romantic moment, thick with beauty and passion, we'll say. Sean Sahib came to me via Moon Dog. That's right, Lewis Thomas Harden. Yes, that's that Viking dude I did another album review on that was covered by Kronos Quartet. So it's a wonderful music multiverse of so many degrees of Moondog separation. Whatever leads you to classical guitar, I hope you appreciate and enjoy in between your usual listening habits. Now the additional reviews. I know you fast forwarded, didn't you? Hey, if you're reading the articles, I'm truly blessed to begin with. But if not, well, I'm slightly offended you breezed over it. But again, I'll get over it. I was excited for Green Day, not because of them. The title Saviors, it kind of had me hooked. I felt like it would have some meat on the bone. It does in the lyrics, but they've always held that pretty much in check. They've always put that in a good position, especially on American Idiot. Here, it's definitely a fan-based album. They keep it locked into their wheelhouse on this record, and in fact, it is a little samey, as Everett would say on our panel. It's still a good record. And it'll grow on me into the cleverness of the lyrics. But the guitar crunch we've heard before. Fun. Yep, I get it. Just not really reaching me this time. I'm not going to play any of the tracks on it because I'm definitely think you check them out anyway. Plus, it could get blocked. So who the hell is Mathbonus? And why would you name yourself that? Is this a special education music class? Well, as much as the programmed electronic here has depth and soundtrackishly dark qualities, I truly felt that the overall pieces and extensions of the background synth-heavy industrial nature were engaging enough to talk about this record. Pitch Black is the title of the album, and the songs do rise and lower, and other tones come in, but nothing as strong as the pounding synth. While I would have liked a little breakup from the droning feel of the background, even when it's slightly changed or lightly done, it's ethereal, and the sinister beauty, like The Cure maybe meets a little Nine Inch Nails early, especially with this track, King Angel. Let's take a listen. I think you understand what I'm getting at with Mathbonus, right? You can check out the entire catalog of Mathbonus. There's it does have similarities. There's other albums called Hellband, Big Bad Dream, and a bunch of EPs too in 2022, and Inner Circle. Finally, well, actually not finally, because we're going to be doing a part 2. Let's talk about an interesting band called the 20 Committee and their new album, Cycle Undone. This is actually their debut. Will, you're going to get your progressive jazz fusion rock on here. There's even hints of space rock. You got your Herbie Hancock sextet, if you really think about it, and the Ozark Tentacles. But thank God they don't do any Pac-Man video game noises in this recording. There's definitely a strong concept record here at the base of it all, which the cover definitely conveys. It's an engaging record and has deep layering of tracks and out of this world musicianship at times, especially that more spacey laden of keys that share the guitar's craziness as well when they're going into solos and stuff, like in the song. It's a long song called Forevermore. Let's take a little listen. So this is not all instrumental. There are vocals in here as well, enhancing the story. The title track, More Than Halfway, actually features the vocal appearance of Annie Haslam from Renaissance. So you get an idea where that's going to feel. There is an odd ending to this record that feels misladen to me. After the bombacity that is started under the beginning of the record and the intensity of it, you suddenly feel like it's falling into something else toward the end. But when you're dealing with concept records, maybe this is the falling action that's happening. So it could be misguided listening on my part. After all, they are returning to dust in this dystopian concept record at the end, which is, why the titles are the way they are. It's a unique listen, and I'm pretty sure a lot of jazz fusion rock individuals will really find this a compelling record. Some of the storytelling kind of reminds me of Capricor's Constant, The Murder Wall, very deep. Although this album does not have that progressive Canterbury-ish kind of feel to it. Although the storytelling and how it flows, it does relate some of that. I want to thank you for watching as always. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, this YouTube. Please stay tuned for part 2 of this. Go beyond your radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. As always, happy listening.